Hey guys, welcome to Shape My Line. If you're new here, this is the trail building series where you get to vote on what I build next on this line behind me here. In the last episode, I finished this bridge right here that I'm standing behind. So that is done now. I'm super stoked. All we have to do is finish the dirt work. We got to fill the gaps on either end. That's a lot of work still. I got lots of rock to gather and dirt to stack on top. And especially on this side leading into the big hip jump takeoff there, that's also going to raise the ground by about a foot, meaning I'm going to have to like boost everything up. I'm going to have to make this jump a little less of a step up. It's going to have to be probably a foot taller as a lip at least. I want a nice long big takeoff here, and that'll make it all run really nice. So we got a lot of work to do. Let's get straight into the build opses. Oh yeah, looks like the next jump's ready to test out. I'm so stoked. And look at this beautiful foggy weather today. So I widened the run in for the bridge here, opened up everything, got it really dialed and lining up so I didn't have to bank it too hard. And if you look at the bridge behind me here, it's just like so beautiful. Turned out so sick, and it's gonna be a really smooth flow. I actually didn't even need to build up the takeoff like I thought I would at the start of this episode. And the reason for that being is just the way everything shaped up. Like I started piling up a lot of dirt on the outside edge here, and it came together really well and didn't have to be stacked up as high as I thought. So I just kept the takeoff how it is, gave it a nice clean surface, and I'm hoping that'll be enough to test it and figure out what needs to change on it, because rarely ever is a lip perfect the first time you build it. That just doesn't happen. So I think this will have to get changed like somehow or somewhat, but we're gonna wait until I ride it first and see what happens. Eyeing this up, just eyeballing it, it looks like this gap here is pretty long, so I don't know how the speed's gonna be. I'm gonna try starting from the landing of the mega step up first and then gain all the speed I can, because you don't actually land that fast on the mega step up. And then if that's not enough speed, I'll have to go from the very top of the line. So we'll do that in the next episode. But yeah, look at the shapes of everything here. This is so sick. We got a landing transitioning into a nice berm and then a speed gap lip after it. And yeah, the whole atmosphere right now is just unreal. I can't wait for this next feature to get hit. It's that look when something's like freshly built and brand new that you just can't beat. It looks so good. And yeah, let's go take a look at what the options are for the next section of this line, because I'm gonna leave that up to you guys. What's gonna happen is you will hit this step down here. This will be a bit of a speed gap, and you'll come and let air out like 20 feet down or so, like not down, but out. And then you'll be down on this future landing zone. That'll be a really clean setup. And then the forest just opens up and we have options. I'm gonna give you 3 options in this episode and let you decide what you wanna do. Okay, option A, we're gonna keep turning to the left of it. Or I guess, yeah, the berm up there is a left-hand berm. So we'll air this step down, have another like slight left-hand berm. But what I'm thinking is we will shark fin it a bit. So it'll go right through this corridor behind me here. And you can see there's a hillside behind me. So this is the creek right here. We're in the creek here. And then you go up the hill about 6 feet of vertical. And there's room for like a landing platform up here. And I'm thinking a hip jump. So it'll be kind of like an off-camber shark fin hip. So option A is a shark fin hip step up that airs over the creek. Okay, so that's the first option. And this is the most logical line for that. Just keep hooking tight left. I think that's pretty cool. Another one I'm really stoked on is something a little more straightforward. And I would just basically do a straight shot from this landing, go in between these trees, and rather than a shark fin, we'll make it more of like a cheese wedge booter. So imagine a dirt takeoff, kind of the shape of a cheese wedge. It'll be shark finned a little bit too, but not as abruptly. It'll be really mellow and kind of subtle. It'll be a bigger gap, so you'll have a long cheese wedge gap, hip jump. This will have to hip too because it's got a really nice space for it. And if you look here, it's got like the most amazing natural landing zone. And my initial reaction is this is probably the very smoothest line you can take because you can snipe between those 2 trees. It's still pretty open. Just imagine like a sick cheese wedge booter between it. You're gonna probably air close to like 40 feet to where I'm standing from the takeoff. So you're gonna need a lot of speed. We might have to adjust the run in accordingly, but this will be the biggest hit. It's where the creek is really wide as well. And you'll have a lot of airtime here and a nice big open landing zone for more rad stuff. Okay, so that's option B, the cheese wedge gap. Option C is gonna be something a little unique. We're gonna do the opposite of A almost. We're gonna have a right-hand berm. So rather than going left or continuing to go left, what we will do is have the run in subtly turn this way to the rider's right. We'll go between these 2 trees right here, and we're gonna head towards these stumps over here. And what I'm thinking is I'll build a booter right here, right before the creek. So we have the most length of open space here. So this will probably give us the most speed out of all the options. And what's really rad about this is we can air over top of this tree here. So if you see this little tree, and I've kind of always wanted to do a jump over a tree, so maybe this is the one I really like. But you see there's a stump here, and then there's a little tree right there. So the jump would air over the tree, and I would land kind of a more snipe landing, a lot more work to build this landing. I would land in this zone here. So I would have to build like a landing between that deadfall tree right there, that dead stump right there, a more snipe landing. It won't be as trickable, but it'll be really unique looking. And if we can make it boosty enough, I should be able to air over top that thing. I'm kind of worried that's what you guys are gonna vote for because it's unique. The only problem is, yeah, not a great landing zone. Here, the creek kind of runs right beside it, so we'd really have to snipe. I'd really have to stack this landing up here. And then in terms of a run out, another kind of issue is that the run out isn't the greatest. Looking at this, it's a lot more work. So for like, to give you reference, option B is the whole run out is this giant, massive hill behind me. And that's the biggest gap. That's got tons of flow and speed to it. And you would just like shoot out here and I could do something huge after. That's another thing when you're looking at these features, like what's gonna make the most sense for continuing the line. So in terms of flow, speed, and style, I think option B will be the very best. In terms of like something that's a crazy shape and like a unique set of dirt piles, option A is gonna be really cool. and it has a great run out as well. And then the really unique feature is option C, that is the jump over the tree. Kind of a sketchy setup. Kind of like when I think of the stump gap, it wasn't the most ideal setup, but it was a cool feature. So let me know what you guys would like to see, A, B, or C. You can vote in the community section. And that's it for this episode, at least the building portion. Let's stick to the usual format. I'll show you some riding now, and then I'll feature whoever submitted clips to me at the very end. All right, let's get into the bike riding. I just tried to do a lot for you, and it was like muddy within 5 seconds. It's so wet out here today. I'm gonna show you some footage from a drier day. Let's check that out. All right, guys, we're gonna change up the scenery and mix up the vibe. We're going to Israel.
Yeah, okay. Good. Yeah. That was good. Yeah, boy. Yeah.
That's a wrap for this episode of Shape My Line. I'm really stoked to see what option you guys pick. A, the shark fin hip step up. B, the cheese wedge mega sender that's like 40 feet long. That is so sick. Or C, the sketchy tree jump. Some good options this time. All right, thanks so much, you guys. And remember, if you want to see yourself at the end of any of these episodes, go to the link in the description here, join that group folder, sign up for it, upload your content, and I'm happy to feature anyone who submits a clip to me. So get your clips in. All right, thanks so much again. See you later.